Another great example of President Trump hearing this message, understanding the moment, and restoring order, the order without which liberty is not possible. President Trump has just posted to Truth Social that he will be categorizing Antifa as a major terrorist organization. Now, I want to get his words exactly right because this is a little bit confusing. He says, I am pleased to inform our many USA patriots that I am designating Antifa, all caps, a sick, dangerous, radical left disaster as a major terrorist organization. I will also be strongly recommending that those funding Antifa be thoroughly investigated in accordance with the highest legal standards and practices. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I was just speaking to my father yesterday. We're catching up on everything. And I mentioned this. I said, something concrete that I really hope comes out of this is that the federal government actually moves in to dismantle left-wing terror organizations, the most notable being Antifa. I said, because it's the same problem as the people who think that the shooter was a Republican. It's the same problem as the people who listen to the Jimmy Kimmels and the news networks and they believe lies. People think that Antifa doesn't exist. I can promise you Antifa exists. Antifa has tried to blow me up before. There's a person in federal prison right now because he worked with Antifa to try to blow me up on a college campus. Other such cases. I'm surprised he is in prison because often left-wing violence goes unrecognized and left-wing terrorists go unpunished. This is real. Antifa stands for anti-fascist. It's a collective of anarchists and communists. They meet in bookshops. They build bombs. In fact, the Antifa operative who's in federal prison for trying to attack me was caught multiple times with explosive material on him going through TSA and allowed to board the plane anyway. We're not talking about some nerds who read Das Kapital and talk about how much they love Herbert Marcuse or something. We're talking about terrorists, people who train and build bombs to murder conservatives and who sometimes succeed. They are an organization. Now, they're anarchists, so it's not the most tightly run organization, but it is organized. It is recognizable as a group with a collective identity. And it needs to be dismantled, and its members need to be ruthlessly prosecuted and suppressed. They are profoundly antisocial elements. They threaten the entire country. They are, as President Trump says, terrorists. Right now, go to stopboxusa.com, code Michael Knowles. You know the dilemma every responsible gun owner faces. Your handgun is either locked away safe, but totally useless in an emergency, or it's accessible, but unsecured and vulnerable. Super frustrating, and it's a choice no one should have to make. That is why StopBox USA created their game-changing StopBox Pro. This ingenious system gives you lightning-fast access through a simple push-button mechanism, no keys to fumble around with in the dark, no batteries that might die when you need them most. Totally mechanical, works perfectly every single time. And what sets it apart is it's made right here in America in their own facility. You don't have to worry about tariffs, overseas quality issues. It's phenomenal. I was just using it yesterday. It's fully TSA compliant for checked baggage, gives you total peace of mind. I love it though. You know me, I'm very skeptical of a lot of digital stuff. This is analog, it's mechanical, it works, it's great. I was putting a pistol in it just yesterday. In fact, just at the office. The StopBox Pro solves that impossible choice between security and readiness. Go to StopBox USA today. Discover why thousands of gun owners are making the switch. For a limited time, our listeners get 15% off at StopBox when you use code Michael Knowles at checkout. MICHAEL, KNWLES. StopBoxUSA.com, code Michael Knowles for 15% off your entire order. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support the show and tell them that we sent you. There's a problem, though, which is that when we're talking about foreign terrorists like Al-Qaeda or Tren de Aragua, for that matter, we can bring the full weight of U.S. military might to bear to suppress them. That is not true for domestic terrorists. That is not true for domestic organized crime generally. You don't send in the 101st Airborne to take down the mafia or to take down the Ku Klux Klan or to take down Antifa. That said, we have taken down the mafia and we have taken down the Ku Klux Klan and we have taken down other terror groups. The way you have to do it is a little bit different, though. So President Trump here points to one way that it can happen, which is these guys do get money. They get money through various NGOs, trickled down from various extremely wealthy left-wing investors. The sources of the money need to be investigated. And where appropriate, they need to be punished. Furthermore, you could bring a RICO charge. There's a prospect of racketeering charges against these left-wing groups. That's the way that the government took down the mob. Furthermore, you could revoke the tax-exempt status of the liberal nonprofits and NGOs that fund these groups. That's one way to take them down. Furthermore, you could put informants into these groups and bring conspiracy charges against these people when they plan attacks on conservatives. That's how they took down the KKK. There are many mechanisms available to the government to take these people down. I am extraordinarily gratified to see that the Trump administration is taking this seriously. How much more do we need to see? When it was just Antifa showing up and making a ruckus outside of conservative speaker events on campus 10 years ago, I guess people looked the other way. When it was just Antifa burning people in effigy on the streets, or defacing monuments, or maybe occasionally punching some conservative, shoving some conservative, shutting down some conservative event, I guess people look the other way. Left-wing ideologues have assassinated the most prominent emblem of civil debate on the right. Something fundamentally has changed. Add on top of that the large-scale support for political violence from the left against the right, reflected not only in the media, not only on social media, but also in the public opinion polls we've seen, for example, from YouGov in recent days. Something fundamentally has to change. The laissez-faire approach, the idol of the invisible hand of the free market working everything out, that false ideology, which has always been false but is now manifestly false, that has been proven to be a god that has failed. And we must once again return to the actual American political tradition, which is self-government in defense of the unalienable rights with which we are endowed by our Creator through representative government that really can wield power. We have not only individual rights, but the political right to have a country in which the defense of natural rights is possible and in which flourishing is possible as well. That's what Trump is getting. That's what we're seeing. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Some Republicans don't quite get this vision. That was a good clip. So stop and ring the bell and subscribe so I see you more frequently. I want to see you more frequently. I'll see you soon.